and welcome to Mastermind with me, John Humphrys. In the spotlight tonight are Ian Jack, an academic pharmacist whose specialist subject is Mary, Queen of Scots; Caroline Betts, a software developer who'll be answering questions on the life and written works of Laura Ingalls Wilder; Laura Binney, a geoscience technologist, her subject Star Trek, the original series; and Adam Young, an accountant whose subject is the life and career of Jenson Button. And their prize, well, the one who wins anyway, relatively modest, just a rather beautiful glass bowl. But the honour, if they get to the final and win that as well, is immeasurable. The title of Mastermind Champion. And all the winner has to do is answer two sets of questions. One on their specialist subject for 2 minutes and one on their general knowledge for 2.5 minutes. But the pressure is immense, what with the black chair and the spotlight and the clock and all that. So let us ask our first contender to join us, please. And your name is?
Ian Jack.
Your occupation?
Academic pharmacist.
And your chosen subject?
Mary, Queen of Scots.
Mary Stuart, daughter of King James V of Scotland, key historical figure, of course, in the 16th century. Here we go. Mary married Francis, the son of King Henry II, and heir to the French throne in 1558. In which cathedral?
Notre Dame.
Yes, Mary became Queen of France, aged 16, in 1559, after Henry died in a joust. But Francis died just a year later. Who was appointed as regent for Francis' younger brother?
Pass.
Who succeeded Lady Fleming as Mary's governess in France? Mary had frequent rows with her and told her mother that the governess had almost been the cause of her death.
Lady Parwa.
Yeah. The so-called casket letters, which implicated Mary in the murder of her second husband, Lord Darnley, are now believed to have been forgeries. They were alleged to have been written by Mary to whom?
The Earl of Bothwell.
Yes. Which Protestant leader met Mary on her return to Scotland and compared it to the Roman Emperor Nero? He'd written that female rulers were contrary to God's will and repugnant to nature.
John Knox.
Yep. Queen Elizabeth wanted Mary to marry Lord Robert Dudley instead of Darnley. What title did she bestow on Dudley to prepare him for marriage to Mary?
The Earl of Leicester.
Yes. What was the name of the Earl of Bothwell's first wife who divorced him so that he could marry Mary?
Jean Douglas.
Jean Gordon. The Earl of Bothwell persuaded fellow nobles to sign a bond to agree to promote the idea of his marriage to Mary. The bond became known by what name?
The Ainsley Tavern Bond.
Yes. In 1567, Mary and Bothwell's army met the army of the Confederate Lords at a hill near Musselburgh, where, after a standoff, Mary surrendered to the Lords and Bothwell fled. Which hill?
Carberry Hill.
Yep. Mary was helped to escape from the island castle of Loch Leven by a man who stole the keys to the main gate. He locked the gate behind them, threw the keys into the mouth of a nearby cannon and rowed them both to shore. What was his name?
Little Willie Douglas.
Yes, in the 1570s, when Mary was in captivity in England, it's believed that she sat for a portrait miniature by which artist?
Or pass.
Mary's trial for treason took place at which Northamptonshire castle in 1586? She was executed there the following year.
Sorry, Fotheringay.
Yes. Mary's son, James VI, I've started off finish, and first exhumed her body in 1612 and reburied her in Henry VII's chapel at Westminster Abbey. She'd initially been buried in the cathedral of which city?
Peterborough.
Is correct. You had two passes, Ian. It was Nicholas Hilliard who painted that portrait of her, that miniature, and it was Catherine Medici, who was appointed as regent for Francis' younger brother. You have scored, however, Ian, 10 points. And our next contender, please. Your name is?
Caroline Betts.
Your occupation?
Software developer.
And your specialist subject?
The life and works of Laura Ingalls Wilder.
The American author best known for her Little House series of semi-autobiographical children's novels. Here we go, 2 minutes. In the first book, the Ingalls family lives in the big woods in Wisconsin. In which U.S. state is Plum Creek the site of their home in the third novel?
Minnesota.
Yep. What paid work does Laura take on at the beginning of Little Town on the Prairie?
She sews buttons.
Yes, hand sewing, yeah. By what nickname is Laura's husband, Almanza Wilder, known in the first 4 years? It was thought up by Laura long before they got married.
Manly.
Correct. In the first 4 years, Laura and Manly are shocked when their good friends, the Boasts, make an offer to trade their best horse for Laura and Manly's daughter. What's her name?
Rose.
Yeah. What bird does Pa find in the haystack after the October blizzard at the claim shanty?
A little oak.
Yes. In By the Shores of Silver Lake, Mrs. Boast shows the Ingalls how to make a stand with shelves. What term is used to refer to this item of furniture?
A whatnot.
Yep. What is the name of the doll that Laura's made to give to her neighbour's daughter Anna, only for it to be found discarded in a puddle some days later?
Charlotte.
Yes. In which popular farmer's newspaper did Laura write a column between 1911 and 1924? Initially, she wrote under her husband's name.
Missouri Ruralist.
Yes, which world event of October 1929 is believed to have prompted Ingalls Wilder to start writing her memoir, Pioneer Girl. It was finished by May of the following year.
The Great Depression.
The Wall Street crash. In Pioneer Girl, Ingalls Wilder reveals that a family of 3 stayed with them throughout the long winter that began in 1880, although they're never mentioned in the novels. What was their surname?
Masters.
Yes. What is the first name of Laura's fictional rival who appears for the first time in On the Banks of Plum Creek? She
Nellie.
was partly based on the real-life daughter of the general store owners, Mr. and Mrs. Owens.
Nellie.
Is correct. The presence of which character ensures that no horses are stolen from the Silver Lake camp? He's based on a real person whom Laura admired.
Big Jerry.
Yes. What was the name of the 10-room house, complete with stone fireplace, that Laura and her husband Almanzo built in the Ozark Mountains near to Mansfield, Missouri?
Rocky Ridge Farm.
Correct. In Little House in the Big Woods, Aunt Eliza is prevented from going to the spring by the family's dog because it had sensed the hidden presence of what animal?
A panther.
A panther is correct. No passes, Caroline. You have 13 points. And our next contender, please. And your name is?
Laura Binney,
Your occupation?
geoscience technologist.
And your specialist subject?
Star Trek, the original series.
The original incarnation of that science fiction phenomenon. Here we go. In the episode Balance of Terror, the Enterprise responds to attacks on Federation outposts monitoring the neutral zone, separating the Federation from which empire?
The Romulan.
Yep. To whom is Kirk referring in Space Seed when he says he was the best of the tyrants and the most dangerous?
Khan.
Yep. The pilot episode, The Cage, was not broadcast originally, but the footage was cleverly used to create visual evidence at Mr. Spock's court-martial proceedings in which 2-part story?
The Menagerie.
Yep. Exposure to radiation causes members of a landing party to age rapidly in the deadly years. Chekhov is the only person not affected because he suddenly has raised levels of what naturally occurring hormone?
Adrenaline.
Yes. In The Squire of Gothos, Captain Kirk fights Trelane in a duel with pistols during which he destroys an object that he thinks is the source of Trelane's power. What object?
The Mirror.
Yeah. Gene L. Coon was a producer of Star Trek during the first 2 seasons. He then continued writing on a number of episodes on which he was credited under what pen name?
Lee Cronin.
Yes. Which actress who plays number 1 in the pilot The Cage appears as Nurse Christine Chappell in later episodes?
Majel Barrett.
Yes. In which episode does a landing party discover a primitive society that exists to serve a machine called Val?
The Apple.
Yes. In Whom Gods Destroy, Garth cannot escape the asylum and beam on board the Enterprise because he cannot respond correctly to the security challenge Queen to Queen's Level 3. What is the correct response?
Queen to King's Level 1.
Yes. In The Man Trap, a shape-shifting alien creature infiltrates the Enterprise and takes the form of crew members. When it meets Lieutenant Uhura, it speaks to her in English and which other language?
Swahili.
Yes. On the set of the Enterprise, items such as pipes and relays that served no specific purpose were labelled GNDN, followed by a number. What did the initials GNDN stand for?
Got no good reason, I don't know.
Goes nowhere, does nothing. The only character whose name appears in the title of more than one episode is a villain played by Roger C. Carmel. Which villain?
Mud.
Yep, Harry Mudd. No passes, Laura. 11 points. And our final contender, please. And your name is?
Adam Young,
Occupation?
accountant.
And your specialist subject?
The life and career of Jenson Button.
a British racing driver who won the Formula One World Championship in 2009. Here we go. Button won the 2009 Formula One World Championship as a driver for which team?
Brawn GP.
Yep, in the 2000 Brazilian Grand Prix, Button finished in 7th place, but was later promoted to 6th after the disqualification of which fellow British driver? The amended result made Button, at the time, the youngest point scorer in Formula One.
David Coulthard.
Yes, for Christmas 1987, Button's father bought him a go-kart, and the two of them spent Boxing Day at a karting circuit near Dorchester, where a corner has since been named in their joint honour. Which circuit?
Clay Pigeon.
Yes. Who took over from John Button as Jenson's main coach for the 93 karting season?
Dave Spence.
Yeah. Button and his McLaren teammate Lewis Hamilton provided voices for animated versions of themselves in which 2012 television series?
Tuned.
Yep. Which song by the British rock group Queen did Button sing after he took the checkered flag of the 2009 Brazilian Grand Prix? The victory secured the World Championship for him.
We Are the Champions.
Yes. Button's 200th Grand Prix as a driver was to the Hungaroring in 2011, a race he won. Which driver did he beat into 2nd place?
Sebastian Vettel.
Yep. What two-word name did Honda give to their new, greener way of working for the 2007 season? Button's Formula One car for that season featured no sponsors' logos as a result.
Earth Dream.
Yep. In his autobiography, Button claims that all you need to know about racing you can learn from the computer game Super Mario Kart. Who does he say is the preferred character in the game?
Bowser.
Yeah. Button competed in the 2018 Le Mans 24-hour race for the SMP racing team. His co-drivers were Mikhail Alyoshin and which other Russian driver?
Vitaly Petrov.
Correct. On which Pacific island did Button marry the Japanese fashion model Jessica Mishibata in December 2014?
Hawaii.
Maui. In 2016, Button appeared in a sport relief comedy sketch as the driver of a luxury car that gets damaged in a minor collision. The sketch was based on which 1970s sitcom?
Pass.
Well, I can tell you because your time is up. It was Some Mothers Do Have 'Em. Adam, you have 10 points. So, that's the end of the specialist subject round. So, very high scoring there. Let's have a look at all of those scores. Joint 3rd place, 10 points apiece, Ian and Adam. 2nd place, 11 points, Laura. 1st place, 13 points, Caroline. And that means, of course, that it is the general knowledge round now. And if there's a tie at the end of it, then the number of passes is taken into account, and the person with the fewer passes is the winner. And if they are tied on passes as well, there has to be a tie break. So let's ask Ian to join us again, please. And you start out with 10 points, as you know, Ian. And you have 2.5 minutes for your general knowledge starting now. Which fictional bear was sent to London from darkest Peru because his Aunt Lucy had moved to a retirement home? He was created by Michael Bond in 1958.
Paddington Bear.
Indeed. What is the name of the legislative body of the United States, which consists of 2 chambers, the Senate and the House of Representatives?
The Congress.
Yes. Which makeup artist born in the Russian Empire in the 1870s established his eponymous cosmetics brand in the early 20th century? He became known for his pioneering work in the film industry in the 1920s and 30s Hollywood.
Pass.
What was the name of the Irish pirate queen who said to have met Queen Elizabeth I at the Palace of Greenwich?
Pass.
Which British city has the telephone area code 0141?
Glasgow.
Yep. What is the popular name for the marble statue of Aphrodite found on a Greek island in the Aegean Sea in 1820? The following year, it was donated to the Louvre in Paris by Louis XVIII.
Pass.
Which group had a UK hit single with Only You in May 1982, some 18 months before the Flying Pickets topped the chart with an a cappella version of the same song?
Pass.
Which American boxer came back from retirement in 1987 and won the WBC middleweight title when he beat Marvin Hagler?
Sugar Ray Robinson.
Sugar Ray Leonard. Which actress and musician, the voice of Rapunzel in the Disney film Tangled, was awarded a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 2019?
I'm sorry, I don't know. Pass.
The Hungarian red wine known locally as Egri Bikover is marketed internationally under what bovine name?
Pass.
What BBC soap, broadcast from 1981 to 83, was set aboard a North Sea ferry as it sailed between Felixstowe, Gothenburg and Amsterdam?
I don't know. Pass.
The national flag of a certain EU country consists of 3 equal horizontal stripes. The top and bottom stripes are red, and the middle stripe is white. Which country?
Austria.
Yes. What Italian word that roughly translates as standing place is used in English as a term for a group of lines within a poem?
Stanza.
Yes. What common alternative name is given to the highly infectious disease equine distemper because it causes inflammation of a horse's airways and can result in difficulty in breathing?
Pass.
Which well-known painting by Manet depicts 2 fully clothed men sitting on the ground in the company of a nude woman? It shares its title with an uncompleted work by Monet.
Picnic.
The Luncheon on the Grass. The Gloucestershire Old Spot is a breed of what farm animal?
Pig.
Yes. And you're right of time. You've got 8 passes altogether. Ian, strangles is the alternative name for that equine disease. Triangle, the name of the BBC soap. Bull's blood, the Hungarian red wine. Mandy Moore was the actress and the voice of Rapunzel in Tangled. Yazoo is the group that had a UK hit single with Only You. Venus de Milo, the name for that marble statue of Aphrodite, found in the sea, the name of the Irish pirate queen, Grace O'Malley. And the makeup artist, born in Russia in the 1870s, was Max Factor. Yeah. You have, Ian, a total of 16 points. And now, Adam, again, please. And you also start out with 10 points, Adam, and 16 is the score to beat as it stands. Here we go. In Roman numerals, which letter denotes the number 100?
C.
Yep. Which large carnivorous dinosaur of the Cretaceous period has a name derived from Greek words for tyrant and lizard?
Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Yes, the capital cities of Buenos Aires and Montevideo stand on opposite banks of the estuary of a river that flows into the South Atlantic. Which river?
The Amazon.
The Plate. Which was the first planet in our solar system, apart from Earth, that was found to have moons?
Jupiter.
Yes. What leafy vegetable is traditionally used to colour pasta green?
Pass.
Which Greek physician, born around AD 129, is credited with disproving the widely held belief of the time that arteries carry air rather than blood?
Pass.
Which American writer created the genre known as gonzo journalism, a highly personal style of reporting that made him a cult figure in the 1970s?
Pass.
Government legislation, which came into force in England in October 2015, required shops with 250 or more employees to begin charging customers for single-use plastic carrier bags. How much was the charge per bag?
5 pence.
Yes. Which British artist was elected the first female president of the Royal Society of Portrait Painters in 1994? She became a judge on the television series The Big Painting Challenge in 2015 alongside Lachlan Goody.
Pass.
What colloquial term, sometimes used as a synonym for bird watcher, refers to a person who travels long distances in order to see rare birds?
Pass.
Which city, whose name is derived from a band of Athabascan people, is the capital of Canada's Northwest Territories?
The Yukon.
Yellowknife. A museum opened in Stockholm in 2013 is dedicated to a 4-member pop group whose albums have sold around 400 million copies worldwide. Which group?
ABBA.
Yeah. In 1967, an oil tanker ran aground off the Cornish coast, causing one of the UK's worst environmental disasters. What was the name of the vessel?
Pass.
What term for an inhabitant of a North German city on the River Elbe is also a name for a flat, round patty of minced beef, usually served in a bun?
Pass.
Which hairstylist is said to have revolutionized women's hair in the 1960s with geometric styles such as the 5-point cut? The fashion designer Mary Quant described him as the Chanel of hair.
Nicky Clark.
Vidal Sassoon. Which former prison, about 18 miles south of Bristol, held the Domesday Book for safekeeping during the London Blitz? At the time of its closure in 2013, it was said to be the oldest working jail in the UK.
Pass.
No, I'll tell you then. It was Shepton Mallet. 7 other passes. Hamburger, the name for that German city. Torricanium was the old tanker that ran aground. Twitcher is what some very enthusiastic bird watchers are called. Daphne Todd was the British artist who was elected the first female president of the Royal Society of Portrait Painters. Hunter S. Thompson created gonzo journalism. That Greek physician born around 129 was Galen. The leafy vegetable traditionally used to colour pasta green is spinach. So there we go. You have a total now, Adam, of 15 points. And now Laura again, please. And you start out with 11 points, Laura. Let's see what you do with your general knowledge. Here we go. What term is most commonly used in North America for soft-soled running shoes, often part of casual dress, that are known in the UK as trainers?
Sneakers.
Yeah. What three-letter abbreviation is applied to the phase of sleep that recurs several times a night in humans and is often associated with dreaming?
REM.
Yeah. What name is given to the box at which front-bench MPs deliver speeches in the chamber of the House of Commons?
Pass.
The 1944 film To Have and Have Not with Humphrey Bogart and Lauren Bacall was loosely based on a novel of the same title. Who wrote the novel?
Philip Marlowe.
Ernest Hemingway. What television sitcom that starred Jennifer Saunders and Joanna Lumley used a version of the Bob Dylan song This Wheel's on Fire as its theme tune?
Absolutely fabulous.
Yep. In 1936, a group of 200 men and their MP, Alan Wilkinson, set off on a march from a town in northeast England to London to protest against mass unemployment and poverty. Which town?
Jarrow.
Yes. What word, partly derived from the Greek for rock, was coined by Australian scientists in the 1960s as a term for the distinctive smell that often accompanies the first rain after a long period of hot, dry weather?
Petrol.
Petrichor. Which American scientist led the research behind two major reports on human sexuality that caused great controversy in the mid-20th century? He devised a 7-point scale which quantifies sexual orientation.
Pass.
What name of Hebrew origin is given to the Day of Atonement held during the month of Tishri? It is the most solemn of the Jewish religious holidays.
Yom Kippur.
Yes. Which city in northern Italy has a university that dates back to the 11th century? It's claimed to be the oldest continually operating university still in existence in Europe.
Florence.
Bologna. Whose marble statue in Kensington Gardens in London is one of a number of sculptures by her daughter, Princess Louise?
Queen Victoria.
Yes. Which mythical Greek hero led the crew of the Argo in pursuit of the Golden Fleece?
Jason.
Yes. What title does the 7-year-old Cedric Errol inherit in an 1886 children's novel by Frances Hodgson Burnett?
Little Lord Fauntleroy.
Yes. Which American golfer's achievements include winning the US Masters a record 6 times between 1963 and 86 and a joint record of 5 wins in the US PGA Championship?
Jack Nicklaus.
Yes. What did Oscar Wilde call the curse of the drinking classes?
Red wine.
Work. Which British filmmaker directed the dramas Hunger Widows and 12 Years a Slave?
I don't know.
I'll tell you in that case, Steve McQueen. And your other passes, Alfred Kinsey was the scientist who did all that research into human sexuality, and they stand when they deliver their speeches at the dispatch,
books.
which, of course, you knew. However, Laura, you have a total now of 20 points.
Thank you.
And Caroline, finally again, please. So, Caroline, the score to beat is now 20. You begin with 13, and you have 2.5 minutes to go. Starting now, what substance used as a fuel and for drawing is made by heating wood in a limited amount of air?
Charcoal.
Yes, the road bridge that carries M25 traffic across the River Thames at Dartford is named after which person?
Prince Charles.
Queen Elizabeth II. What is the surname of the brothers Ray and Dave who were in the original lineup of the rock group The Kinks?
Johnson.
Davis. Which art gallery overtook the British Museum to become the most visited UK tourist attraction of 2018?
National Gallery.
Tate Modern. Which American actress and singer who died in 2019 played the lead role in the Broadway musical Hello, Dolly more than 5,000 times?
Bass.
The name of an Athenian lawmaker of the 7th century BC who was notorious for introducing harsh penalties for trivial offences forms part of a modern adjective used to describe severe punishments. What's the adjective?
Bass.
Which European capital city is divided into 20 administrative districts known as arrondissements?
Paris.
Yes. Which Australian actor won an Oscar for his portrayal of the pianist David Heathcote in the 1996 film Shine? His other nominations have included his role as the speech therapist Lionel Logue in The King's Speech.
Geoffrey Rush.
Yes. Which artist, born in London in 1931, is best known for her disorientating abstract paintings, which were central to the op art movement in the 1960s?
Tracy Emin.
Bridget Riley. What toothless mammal native to Africa and Asia is sometimes called the scaly anteater because of its diet and the armor-like plates that cover its body?
Armadillo.
Pangolin. Which musician born in Belfast in 1939 has been nicknamed the man with the golden flute?
Pass.
What is the name of the American senator who was Hillary Clinton's running mate in the 2016 presidential election?
Pass.
Which British order of chivalry, founded in the 14th century, has the motto "On y soit qui mal y pense"?
Order of the Garter.
Yes. Which judge from Strictly Come Dancing announced her departure from the show in April 2019?
Darcy Bussell.
Yes. Which British author's 1933 work, Down and Out in Paris and London, was based on his own experience of living in poverty in those two cities?
George Orwell.
Yes. Which architect's design for the Museum of Islamic Art in Doha has been likened to a stack of boxes placed on top of each other at various angles? He was born in China, but became an American citizen in 1954, died in 2019, aged 102.
Pass.
Which British composer wrote the music for the choral work The Dream of Gerontius? It tells of the journey of a man's soul through the afterlife.
Elgar.
Elgar is correct. Caroline, you have 5 passes. I.M. Pei was the name of that architect. Tim Kaine was Hillary Clinton's running mate. James Galway was the man with the golden flute. Draconian is the adjective for severe punishment. And Carol Channing was the American actress who played the lead role in Hello, Dolly. You have, Caroline, 20 points. Well, it doesn't get closer than that, does it? Let's have a look at those final scores. In 4th place with 15 points, Adam. 3rd place with 16 points, Ian. 2nd place with 20 points and 5 passes, Caroline. In 1st place with 20 points and only 3 passes, Laura. Which proves the peril of passing and which means that Laura goes through to the semi-finals. Congratulations to her. And if you would like to be a contender in the next series, do go to our website, bbc.co.uk/mastermind, and you can follow us at Mastermind Quiz. And do join us again next time for more Masterminds. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.
I was trying not to pass, but it's just, your mind goes blank and you don't know what to say and the word pass comes out. Pass. Oh, when they said 20 points each, I'd completely lost track of how many passes I had. And I've been sitting there watching this programme since the beginning with my parents and then with my children. I'll be swatting up on general knowledge a lot for the semi-final. I now know there's some massive holes in my knowledge and I will be trying to plug those between now and the semi-final.